Hello and welcome to another episode of this FM20 story with Dorking Wanderers with me, Daniel. It's the one club story where we're trying to take them to the top of English and European football, and today we play our first game of our second League One season. It's season 7 and we're trying to push towards the top half in our second step towards League One promotion. So last year was all about staying up, this year's all about cementing our place in the division, and then next year's really about pushing on with our young squad, hopefully getting closer to those playoffs and promotion spots. We had a big transfer revolution in the summer, huge numbers of in and outs of the squad, more than we've ever had before in a summer in this series. So if you did miss that transfer special, please do click back and catch up in the eye above. It's crucial as you're going to miss out on so many names in the squad today and so many players that have left the club that we needed to bid farewell to, so do make sure you go and check that one out first. But a massive thank you to everyone who continues to follow the series into another season. I really do greatly appreciate it. If you're still enjoying the series, please put a big thumbs up on it. It really does mean a lot and makes such a difference to how the series performs. And if you're new to the channel and just joining along, then subscribe for daily FM20 content from both of my long-term stories. Our other one, the head coach, has just had a massive job change in that. The biggest moment of the series by far came earlier this week. Then we had our first game at our new club yesterday, so again I'll put a link to the playlist in the eye above. You can catch up with any of that series that you've missed. But a massive thank you to everyone who continues to follow both. I really do appreciate it. And I'm hoping I'll be able to reward you with a good result today, with a new look squad, a few good new players in there, a pretty similar tactic, but we've got a few slight tweaks to make, and hopefully long term we'll be able to adapt well and just get in the 1 or 2 more bits of gold dust we need. So of course you'll know in the summer we released 10 players, we sold about 10 more, we also had a few going out on loan, and then we've managed to sign 13 players in addition to the 3 that have stayed on loan. There's so many big names coming in and out the club, a few more on trial still. We've got a couple of positions, centre half and centre forward, where we desperately need to get strength in depth, but our first 11 looks set for the season now, so we're hoping that they'll put on a good impression today. Let's have a look at the dynamic screen to see how we're standing at the moment. The team cohesion's good despite those changes, a lot of the first 11 still the same, and in a couple of positions where we've got 2 options to choose from, I've gone for the one that was here last season. The dressing room atmosphere's good, we finished the last season in pretty good form, the managerial support remains excellent throughout, and everything's looking pretty rosy at the start of the season, though the hierarchy's a bit barer than it was previously. So we had a lot of players that were highly influential at the squad, quite a few that had been here since the National League days last season. They were dwindling out of the squad, they weren't really getting involved, not many of them really key players anymore, so most of them released in the summer. Jade Gallagher, the only one we've kept hold of, just for the sake of the mentoring groups to be honest, but we've got Moles and Matthew Smith at the top, they're the ones that are going to be the team leaders this year. Harry Campbell, the vice captain and the backup keeper, James Simpson up there too with Gallagher, and then influential players that I see coming through. Cotter's going to move up very quickly, as is John King, the lone striker, and Thompson's on loan for the 2nd year in a row, and of course the experienced goalkeeper Mitchell that's been brought in. A few of those younger players and those that are just other players at the moment, they'll gradually work their way up as well. Ogbene's 28, I'd imagine him to have an influence soon. A few of the others that have just got to settle in a bit more, and as they get more first team football I'm sure they'll move up the ladder. The likes of Humphreys Durnley probably fall in that category. But everyone's looking well established at the moment, the social groups are good, just a few of the new ones that are a little bit outcasted at the moment. I'm sure that'll change as we go along though. So we've got young Matt Smith who's in a social group with Moles, that'll only help his development. 3 of the youngsters that have come together and already formed a bond, all of them new to the club. I guess we did mention with King, he'd come from Ayr United originally, trained there and then went to Leeds, and then Willie Dowie's just come direct from Ayr for us, so I'd imagine they came through at roughly the same time. And then Cole McKinnon's come from Rangers up in the Scottish Premier League as well. So 3 players that have come from similar backgrounds. We've got a few players that have been scouted that may fit into. They're players that we've been looking at over the summer and over the last year. But a lot of players in that core social group at the top, and that should benefit us going forward this year. On to media predictions for the season though. I guess that's probably one of the most interesting things this year. We've normally been associated with finishing lower. This year 8th place is our recommendation. 7th it was before pre-season, but obviously a couple of the others are signing big name players. The likes of Cardiff, Rotherham who signed Kane Williams of us for nearly $500,000, Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday, Wigan, all such big clubs. There's so many big teams down there, but they're not expecting us to be threatened with relegation at all. And if we can avoid being involved in that fight even for part of the season this year, I'll consider it a job well done for the season. But Cardiff got the likes of Brandon Williams, who's of course playing for Man United regularly in real life. Looks a very good player as well, England under-21 international. So many strong players at this level, and we're going to have to be at our very best and most consistent to get good results regularly, and then hopefully we can compete for the top half. But as a reminder of the club vision, we've got to finish in mid-table this year, look pretty comfortable doing so, record a top half finish the season after. We'll gradually work towards that as we go along, but the board again a bit more realistic now, and we're trying to make a profit in the transfer market as well. In terms of training, we've given our new fitness coach a lot of work to do. He's going to be someone that's crucial to us this year, and again we met him in the last episode as well. Could be just as crucial as any of our summer signings on the pitch, and our tactics going to stay pretty similar as well this year. Just the wingers drop into support duties, they seem to suit it more. With Johnson going back to his loan club, Mole's coming back in, we've gone to a Mazzala on both sides of the midfield three again, and the two defensive fullbacks with Smith and Cotter back again. The tactical instructions will generally say the same, although we will try and go a little bit more attacking at home, but the counter-attacking seemed to work pretty well on the break. Away from home we looked a better side towards the end of last season, so let's get into the first one against Peterborough today. We didn't look to see where they were expected to finish. They're expected to be in 10th place, it's almost neck and neck between the two of us, so it should be a pretty good game we have there, and hopefully we'll be able to get a point or three. Let's see who the favourites are, just about Peterborough, but the head-to-head record, we won both of them last year, and it's showery cold conditions for August. 9 degrees on the 2nd of August, there will not be many happy British people there. 9,500 going to Campwell Park, been renamed, is it a new ground maybe? Over 16,000, that can't be London Road, unless it's obviously had a bit of an upgrade. Keith Hill, the manager at Bolton in real life at present, had a brilliant spell at Rochdale over the last few years, and the 11 we're putting out to beat them is as follows, and let's hope we can get ourselves a decent result. So Harry Campbell's probably the prime example of what we mentioned earlier on, where we've got two players who are pretty neck and neck. We're sticking with the experienced man for now, the one who's experienced at the club I should say. Jonathan Mitchell will become first choice, probably change him over after the Leasing.com trophy first match, maybe even the Carabao Cup if he gets on well, but for now just keeping the changes to the minimum. Cotter and Smith the fullbacks, Mark King coming in alongside Walker at centre half, with Kane Williams leaving and Kieran Brown as well. We've got no other choices at centre half, so at the moment those two are having to play. The only alternative really was Cotter in the middle and Simpson at right back, but Simpson's had some awful games at right back recently. We've got Stephen Moles and Humphreys Durnley as the two Mazzalas. Both of those featured very heavily last year, but unfortunately Matthew Smith just back from a month knocking pre-season, so Cole McKinnon gets a debut in central midfield, and he's been joined on the wings by Joe Thompson on the left, Dalton on the right who's a no player on loan, and then John King up front as you would expect, the man who scored so many goals for us last year. He's favourite for the Golden Boot according to the media, so let's hope he can achieve that this year. If he does, we'll definitely be safe from relegation. So the left wing with Thompson, another one of those positions where we've gone for the man that was already here. Ogbene again potentially will become first choice later this season. More experience in the squad as well, so it should suit us down to the ground. But otherwise, it's a pretty good lineup, pretty familiar, just the three new players coming in today. So Mark King and Dalton, the two new loan players, they're two of the five that are going to be involved this year. And then Cole McKinnon in the holding role instead of Matthew Smith, that's purely enforced because of injury. On the bench we could have more debutants today. Willie Bowie's one of them, Jake Hughes the left back making a second debut, Ogbene off the bench as we mentioned again, and Manny Cook due to loans hasn't played here for a couple of years. When was his last appearance for us actually? Our first season in League 2 3 seasons ago, so that's 4 early league appearances that season. Manny Cook's going to be a superstar if he gets a chance. Hopefully he'll be able to prove us all wrong. We put a fair amount of work into set pieces as well. We want to make sure we take advantage of them where possible, and we're offering new contracts to one or two as well. So a couple that have only got 1 year left, they're ones that we're trying to get tied down now. The likes of Aaron Bolger, who's on the bench today, he falls into that category, so hopefully their morale will increase soon. But let's get into this first match of the season against Peterborough. So this is the moment of truth for us really. We find out if our summer work's good or not. They've got the likes of Toffolo and Wilson at fullbacks. Some good players in the middle there. Carl Hawkins we nearly signed actually. Probably not quite as good as our centre halves. Better than our backups obviously because we haven't got any. And then Dembele on the right wing. He's a good experienced player. Been there for years. On £6,000 a week worth $1.5 million. That's more than any of our players of course. Our top player still John King on £3,000 a week on loan. Another good player but only worth 300 grand. But training well. Scored 1 in 2 last last year, looks a really good player, got bigger threats from the wings, and I'm hoping he'll be able to do a good job today, particularly as we're trying to play flat on the break. So in we go, let's talk to the lads. Not many regens in the side for Peterborough. The only one that was a striker by the looks of it, so I'm worried he might be a superstar on loan from a Premier League club, but let's not worry about looking at him for now and get into the first half and see if we can get a good result. A few of the lads motivated, John King in particular, looks like it's going to be a good start to the season. With 5 gone, only 1 shot on target for Peterborough, and it wasn't worthy of a highlight to be seen on camera. Corner kick, and it's Joe Thompson early on from the right, in swinger headed away by Hawkins, falls for Moles, back out of Thompson, into Dalton who scores, debut goal for the right winger on loan. I'm so annoyed now that we couldn't get him on a permanent. 40 grand would have been a steal, he's going to be worth millions, that kid, but a good young player, and he scored the opening goal of the season. Thompson setting it up from the left after a poor end to last year, and 2 wingers on supporting duties, albeit from a set piece, making such a big impact in their new roles this year. 25 minutes gone, we lead 1-0, and it looks like a fairly even game. Peterborough yet to cause much of a threat, and as I say that, they've got a long throw into the box, though Joe Thompson, the goal scorer, or the assist maker, does well to head away. Ken gets the ball into Lewis. Keeping the ball, Peterborough is not yet cleared. Great challenge from Mark King, the centre half. McKinnon, the other new man, clears long. Duncan couldn't quite get on the end of it, so we've now got 2 Kings and 2 Smiths in the regular lineup. It's going to be a very confusing season for the commentary. Here's Dalton in the centre circle. Got a man out on the left if he can find him. Got so much time there, he's just waiting for the option. Back to Matt Smith at left back, the only transfer fee this summer, of course, and he finds Moles who charges forward. A great player who's been in brilliant form for us last year, really matured in the last 2 seasons, bit of a late bloomer if we're being honest, and at 26 he's finally found his form as eventually it comes to Humphreys Durnley. Great through ball, Dalton again. Oh, he scored a second. Oh, I wish he was our player permanently, but what a fantastic debut. 2 goals in half an hour, one set up by Joe Thompson, that one from Humphreys Durnley reminiscent of a Matthew Smith through ball, unbelievable threaded pass, and we double our lead with 5 to the break. Here's Dembele with a free kick on the right though, dangerous position for Peterborough. Terry Taylor heads in, the centre half up and above the defenders, we lose our focus at the back, the marking not the best, and Walker's got a yellow card, and that's not what we wanted 5 minutes before half time. 2-1, Peterborough back in it. We still lead at the break though, and it's been a good first half performance, and what a wonderful debut it's been from Callum Dalton. We're going to tell the lads we're pleased, get into the second half, don't want to have time to think about it and tweak things, we don't want to tinker when we're not quite sure, we don't want to put our lads at risk of conceding again. 10 minutes into the second half, first highlight, it's into Taylor, he's headed just wide, but he's won yet another one in there. What's his heading rating? It must be pretty good, only 13 for jumping, but he's on 5 grand a week. To Wales under 21 international, it is a sort of quality we haven't got. As King goes long down the pitch for us, it's given away to Toffolo, the Peterborough left back. Back to the centre half, Hawkins. Long ball forward, oh, it's a missed header. Mark King, he's made a shocking error there. It's 2-2, Ellis Chapman equalises. A debut error from King, the complete opposite to Callum Dalton. He's made a howler that could cost us points here as Peterborough get themselves back on level terms. I've just looked at Chapman actually, his finishing rating's under 10, he didn't do too badly with that as a result, but 20 minutes to go, John King's had a poor game, not getting much support, and I don't know if I want to bring him off. We could put Dalton up front, I guess, he's a pretty good player up there. I'm not sure what sort of impact he'll make though. Is he a natural striker? Not really, so we're going to stick with King for now. We might just put him back to a pressing forward for the last few minutes, just to see if he can pester the defenders. Despite his assist, Humphreys Durnley's actually got the worst rating of the midfield 3, so we could consider bringing him off, but not just yet. Joe Thompson on the left wing's knackered, got the worst condition by far of our team, so a debut for Ogbene on the left hand side. He'll come on as an inside forward, and maybe that will just get that extra bit of support up to King, give him that support he needed in attack, and we'll get back into it with 20 minutes to go and see if we can hold on for at least a point. 10 minutes left then, not much going on, so Humphreys Durnley is going to be replaced now. I'm not sure which one to bring on, I think it's going to be Bolger. We've just lost a man, of course, on that left wing where he's cutting inside now, so we're going to have a ball winner in Aaron Bolger. Just support the left back, Matt Smith, who's having an average game, and with 5 to go, we're defending a corner again. Then Dembele in, Mark King brings it down. Oh, he's made another howler. Mark King twice in a row. He's giving it away on the edge of the box. Brown Sterling volleys it in, and Mark King has made 2 crucial errors leading to goals. A devastating debut, still only a rating of 6.7, and after this attack we'll go attacking just to try and give ourselves a chance of getting an equaliser. Throwing it away from 2-0 down, looks like the same old story's going to be this year as well, and Mark King won't have many worse games than this. We've got to be careful of that. John King with a flick on from across though, great through to the keeper, brilliant distribution. Walker wins it back and it goes long again, and we're trying to get the ball on the left hand side. Here's Ogbene taking on a fullback, brilliant cut inside, can he produce some magic? Beats 2 and shoots, brilliant save Pim, what a goal goal it would have been, and it's led to a corner, and Ogbene nearly became a hero too. Dalton on a hat-trick. Can he nick one? If he can, this will be the dream debut. It's headed away from the corner though, and ball down to Bolger, the substitute. McKinnon, good through ball to John King. Cuts inside, it's a good challenge in the end, but a flag was already up from the assistant referee. Offside given against our number 9 striker. There's the full-time whistle though. Bitter disappointment as we lose 3-2. It all looks so rosy after half an hour. Callum Dalton gave us a 2-0 lead. Brilliant finishes on both counts, but unfortunately 2 crucial mistakes from Mark King. Somehow his match rating still 6.7. It suggests there's a very good player in there aside from that, but we're going to have to cut out those errors very quickly. What's his concentration rating? 15. He shouldn't be making crucial errors that often. We're going to need to get him to change that pretty soon. But a decent performance, not the best result. The lad's fired up for the next game against Port Vale. That one's in midweek. Of course, they lost 3-0 at home to Sheffield Wednesday today, so they should be in pretty poor confidence too. I'm not too upset after that first game of the season. It suggests we're going to be competing for mid-table at best. There's no chance of the playoffs or anything up there. We're just not going to be consistent enough. We've got young players in defensive areas and crucial mistakes lead to goals. And again, John King starting the season pretty poorly. Did the same last year and scored 21, so let's hope he can do the same again this year. But Dalton's going to get some praise. He was absolutely fantastic today, and we love him to continue with that every match. His morale's perfect, and he's starting to make a real impression with the fans. But before we finish off, let's go and look at the schedule to see when we might next be back. I want to leave it till at least the end of August, just so we can get through the transfer window, and look at those 2 big home games after the international break. In fact, one of them's in the middle, so it might get changed. Cardiff City at home, they might have some international still, and then Wigan at home, 2 big sides at this level. We'll be showing those 2 in the next episode. We've got a big tie at QPR in the Carabao Cup. We'll still play the backup team. We'd expect ourselves to get knocked out. And then the same against Oxford in the Leasing.com trophy. We've got them, Spurs under 23s, Peterborough the other third side in that league. So after today's performance, we're not too confident. We'll probably expect to go out of that one too. But again, we'll be back at the start of September for the first 2 league games against Cardiff and Wigan, and hopefully we'll be in slightly better form by then. We've got a lot of away games to start the season with. But if you did enjoy this episode and the first game of the season, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the performance. I think we all know who our star man's going to be now. A fantastic performance from Callum Dalton on debut, and we just need John King to get back in form as well. Thompson impressed, he got an assist, as did Humphreys Durney with a good through ball. And when Matthew Smith's back an anchor in the midfield, I feel like we'll be a little bit more solid. But overall, not a devastating performance, though it was pretty sickening to lose it late on. We've got 2 big games coming up in the next episode, a load of decent ones in the middle in between then, and I'd like to get 2 or 3 wins under our belt by then, so hopefully we'll come back in fairly decent form. We still need a centre half and a centre forward, so hopefully we'll be able to do that before the next one too. We really need a little bit more help in the squad, and we've still got that one coaching position to fill as well, and the advert's out, so that should be resolved too. But if you did enjoy this episode, please put a thumbs up on it. I really do appreciate it as always. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the performance, where we need to improve before the end of the month, if you think it's different to what I do. If you're new to the channel, subscribe for daily FM20 content from both of my long-term stories. This one will continue with Dorking for as long as it takes us to reach the top, or until we get sacked if we fail, of course. And in our other series, The Head Coach, we've just started at a new job. 2 massive episodes the last 2. We had a massive surprise job offer, a really interesting club for specific reasons off the pitch, and then we managed our first game last time round. And then tomorrow we'll be coming up against Manchester United on the channel, so make sure you come and check that one out too. Finally, I'm part of a podcast that does matchday vlogs and interviews, and you can see the link to the matchday vlogs in the eye above. I really do appreciate your support with them so far. In fact, all 3 of us do. The numbers on some of them have been absolutely crazy. We can't thank you enough for your support and feedback. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support into the new season. I really do appreciate it, and as you can see, defensively we still need it. And I hope to see you next time for 2 more big games as we try and get our feet settled down in League One this season.